Hey everyone, I'm back with the Heroes podcast. I'm so happy. I have a new guest for you, Regina Andler. How are you?
I am excellent, Andre. Thank you for having me here.
Thanks for coming on the show. Before we go in, I wanted to introduce you so people know right from the beginning who they are going to hear from. Well, Regina Andler is a business transformation specialist who helps women business owners move from overwhelmed to overjoyed. I love that. In their business, using their proprietary from chaos to clients program. Well, a lot of coaches need this. I just realized she's got 20 years experience as an entrepreneur, having had traditional brick and mortar businesses, online businesses, and multiple multi-level marketing businesses. Expecting this conversation. She's a certified Jack Canfield Success Principles trainer, a certified in Wholebeing positive psychology. Well, tell me, Regina, how did you start? Where are you coming from? Do you want to share some of the journeys that you've had?
Yeah, I would love to. It's a pretty interesting journey, as most people have, because we all have our stories, right? And mine started way back when I was still in corporate world. And for anybody who is listening, watching, that is in corporate world and maybe is feeling what I felt back then. I spent a lot of years in the tech field, and especially for women in tech, I don't want to stereotype, it's still a pretty male dominated industry, tech. And for women, especially women like me, who, I'm going through the ranks and moving up in management and that kind of thing, it could be really stressful. And way back in 2000, I was just wrapping up actually my corporate career at that point. And what happened was I was stressed out. I was burnt out. I was anxious, overwhelmed. I was having panic attacks because it was just a crazy environment. And after spending all that time in that environment, it was literally something had to give. And what the tipping point actually was for me was my husband and I in 1999 started building a house where I live in New Hampshire. And the day we moved in, the moving truck hadn't even left our driveway yet. And I get a phone call from my mother, and she says, "Your dad's in the hospital. He has congestive heart failure. We don't know if he's going to make it through the night." And between moving and all the stress from corporate world and everything else, it was like, boom. That was it. So literally I jumped into my car, went down to take care of that. Fast forward, dad survived at that point. My parents are unfortunately both passed at this point. However, back then, he did survive the night. He survived for another 7 years, as a matter of fact. And that was like a turning point in my life because everything had literally just blown up. And I said, something's got to give. And the big thing that was really kind of tying me down, holding me back, was that corporate job. And that corporate job with all the burnout, the anxiety, and all that kind of stuff. So I literally said, I'm taking a time out. I'm taking a break. And I'm going to take care of dad. I'm going to take care of mom. My dad was actually my mom's full-time caretaker. So with dad being sick, I took care of mom. I said, I'm quitting. I told my husband, I said, I'm quitting my job. I'm going to take some time off. And then I will regroup and figure out what I'm going to do. And at the time I figured, I'll just go back to corporate world. I'll go back and get a management job in some tech place someplace. And if you remember anything about 2000 and 1999, that area, the tech business kind of went boom. And literally when I went to go look for a job, there were no jobs. There was like 1,000 or more resumes for every tech job that was out there. And so I couldn't find anything. So I said, you know what? I'm a smart woman. I've got a master's degree. I've got degrees in science, computer science. I've got all this stuff. Why don't you just start your own business? And that basically scared the heck out of me because I said, okay, I have no idea how to start a business. I've been in corporate world all of my life. And so that like, it almost added a whole new level of anxiety to me, where I just started thinking, well, what do I do now? And how do I do this? And at that point, it was really all about recentering and finding me, because, it had been so many years in that corporate environment where I literally didn't know what I knew anymore. I just knew something had to change. And so I made a decision and said, you know what? I'm going to start a business. And what I know best right now is how to fix computers. So I'm going to start a computer repair business. And so I started doing research. And one of the things that I've learned over time is that the key to success is research. Because, if you don't research something, you don't know, is there really a need for a new computer repair person in the town? And how am I going to do this? And how am I going to set it up? And what do I need to know to start a business? How do I actually do all of this? And that was kind of the start. It was like the tipping point, and then a start to a whole brand new me. So from there, as I started building that, I literally went to everything. Here in the States, we have, it's the Small Business Administration, and they have free courses. At the time, I'm assuming they still do, they had free courses on how to start a business, how to the insurance, how to hire employees, how to do your finances, how to literally do everything that you need to do to start a business. And as a lifelong learner that I am, I went to every single free class that they had and soaked up all of that information, and then, hung up my shingle. And my first business was called Computing Made Simple. And I started that out, and that became actually a brick and mortar business that I had a shop here in my local town, right on the main drag in town here. And eventually hired my first employee, and then hired more employees, and ran that for quite some time. So that was how I got my start as an entrepreneur. So I went from corporate into the entrepreneur world very timidly, because as a computer person, as a tech person, I have that analytical brain. So for me, it's not just, a lot of people are like, I'm just going to start a business, and they do it. For me, I had to analyze the whole thing. So,
And I'm wondering what do you see as the biggest challenge these days for people coming from being an employee or even corporate world to then jump into entrepreneurship and running a business on their own? This is such a big, I think it's a psychological shift, but give me your views, because this may help a lot of people from my audience.
yeah. So when it comes to that jump from where I was in corporate world to starting that first business, and I've had multiple businesses since then, and now I'm a business consultant, right? Now I actually teach people how to do exactly what you're asking right now. And the thing is that for some people, they just jump because they're so frustrated, and they start a business, and then they realize really quickly that they have no clue what they're doing. They know they have their core genius. So they know that they know something that is of value that people want. They have a product, a service, they have knowledge that other people need, and that's great. What they don't know is how to start a business. And being the analytical type, like I said, back when I first started, I didn't know how to start a business either. I have a MBA, and that's a master's in business. And everybody's like, you have an MBA, you could start a business. I said, having an MBA tells you nothing about how to be an entrepreneur. Nothing at all. There was nothing that I learned during my MBA program that gave me any clue as to how to start a business. And so all of those small business administration programs that I took were all those little fill in the dot pieces that I needed to actually get started. And that's what people jumping from corporate world into a business a lot of times leave out. They don't realize all of the other systems, the processes, and everything that need to be put into place to actually create a successful business. They have that knowledge. They have something that they want to share. They have maybe an idea of how they want to share it. they don't necessarily know how to package it. They don't know how to really put it out there. And that's where, really quickly, all of a sudden it's like, okay, did I make the right move? I just quit my day job and started doing this. Was that a smart move? And inside of there's all of these, business is all about mindset, and there's all these limiting beliefs. And if you've ever had a corporate job and stopped and decided that you were going to go into corporate world, oh, there's limiting beliefs. I call them MFBs, manufactured false beliefs.
Yeah.
And it's literally, there are these things that all of a sudden you have beliefs that come up in your head that you didn't even realize that you had. You're like, what? This is great. I'm going to start this business, but I don't want to talk to people. What if they reject me?
The doubts, the
Yeah,
doubting Thomas in the head.
yeah. I'm only going to charge this amount for my program, even though it's really worth a lot more, because I have this thing about money. There's all these limiting beliefs that start creeping up. And that's where, starting a new business, or even I've met with people who have existing businesses, and they just tell me, they're like, I'm at the ceiling. They're like, I just can't get further. I'm stuck here. I'm doing all the right things. I think I'm doing all the right things. They're moving. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with what they're doing. It has to do with what's in here.
Of course. I love these conversations. And are you able to help? So you're as well, you've got the tools to create those tiny little steps that they need to take. Plus you have the mindset nailed as well. Is that how you are helping?
Yeah. And so let's be completely transparent and honest here, right? When I first started my business, I didn't want to talk to clients. What if they turn me down? How am I going to do this? I had a serious limiting belief around money. I grew up with, money doesn't grow on trees. Who do you think you are? The Rockefellers? All these things growing up that I had planted in my head, that until I started my own business, I didn't even realize that I had these. And I didn't realize that I had them, period. I mean, they didn't show up for me at the time as, hey, this is a limiting belief, you need to deal with it. Because at the time, I had no clue what a limiting belief was. And like I said, I call them MFBs, manufactured false beliefs, because literally there are things that we manufacture in our mind. They are not true. And yet we hold on to them tightly as this belief that we have. And so it wasn't until I addressed my MFBs, my manufactured false beliefs, that I actually started breaking through my own ceiling. So when people come and they're like, I can't get through the ceiling, I think 100% of the time when I've talked to people, it's always because it has nothing to do with their business. They've got great products, they got great services, they know their stuff, they have something of value to share. It has nothing to do with the actions that they're taking for their business. It has to do with what's in here and where they're going with it.
That's powerful. And I agree with you so much, because I haven't got the steps to business, but I am working with the mind each day and every day. And I find mind viruses, I call them, that's been, either planted or inherited from mom or dad, or as you said, at certain circumstances, people just pick up ideas, and they are so limiting. And would you agree then, building a business is the most wonderful self-development journey, because you kind of get to confront all of these stuff that is in the way of a wonderful life of contribution and meaning and maybe abundance.
Yeah. So the idea of stopping and then starting your own business, or stopping corporate world or whatever your job is, right? And moving from a job to a traditional job to having your own business, that is a major life shift. And it is an absolutely fabulous journey, because if you just if you know, it's great. If you have a job and you like your job and you love what you do in your job, that is great. For the folks who say, there's got to be something more. And those are the folks that start exploring and say, well, maybe I'm going to start my own business. And the second you make that decision to do that, all kinds of new things open up. And, you talk about people being in their comfort zone and where they live. When you decide to go into business for yourself, you just automatically massively expanded your comfort zone because, it's a whole new world opens up. There's new opportunities, there's new relationships, there's new everything. And just like anything else, that's a change. Change can be, and I'm going to air quote it, scary, right? And it's only scary if you choose to make it that way. You can choose to say, I don't know what I'm going to do about this, and I'm really frustrated, I'm overwhelmed, I'm scared of all of this. Or you can say, wow, this is a really cool journey. I wonder what comes next. And that's all mindset.
Wow, I love how you are putting a different frame around it, and I've seen how certain challenges could put into a frame of curiosity and playfulness, which is so much lighter than the fear of failing or fear of success, which is crippling a lot of people. So what would you say, why do people come to you, and who are the clients that are typically the people you're helping?
So the people that I help are those people who they've started their business. I predominantly work with other coaches and consultants. And, for the record, the saying goes, every coach needs a coach. And that's because you don't know what you don't know, right? And sometimes when you feel like you're stuck at that ceiling, right? You're like, I'm doing everything right. You don't see what it is that's going on around you. And that's where a coach or, a consultant comes in, where they can say, okay, so tell me what's going on. Tell me where you are. Tell me what you have. And then they can see what's happening. So most of the folks that I work with are folks that have businesses, and they're saying, I can't seem to get more clients. I'm not finding the right clients. I don't know how to create a signature program. I don't know how to create, those lead magnets, those things that draw prospects to you. I don't know how to create that content. I know how to teach, and I know I have valuable information. I don't know how to put it all into a nice, pretty package and tie it up with a bow so that those people who are out there, are attracted to me. And that's the whole thing about business too, right? I mean, we all think about going into business, and we first reach out to who? We reach out to the people we know, like, and trust, and who know, like, and trust us already. In order to sustain any business, the people that are coming to your business are people who don't even know right now that you exist in this world. Beautiful. So the key is to create something that stops them in their tracks and says, ooh, who's this Andre guy? Who's this Regina person? I want to see more about them and see what it is that they're doing, because they just gave me something that interests me. And that's what I help my clients do. I help them create that stuff so that they bring in those prospects and create those leads, who then turn into client family members.
Yes, beautiful. I have the feeling sometimes that your clients should feel that you are exactly talking to them through your content, almost being in their head. And then probably you nailed how they feel, what is going on for them. So then at that point, they realize that you know where they are. And if you know where they are, then, we have Regina here to take it to the next level. Probably then you could help them to scale or multiply their income. Is that what you normally help with?
That's exactly what I help with. So those folks, they could be just starting out, and they could be saying, I'm starting out, I have nothing at this point. I just have a really good idea. For those people, my biggest advice to you is don't quit your day job. You're not ready yet. It's okay. You can do your day job while you start building and creating what it is that you're going to put out there. And then you can launch the business, right? So that's the biggest piece of advice. So many people I hear, they're like, well, I just quit my job last month so I could start my business. I didn't have anything ready yet, but I really want to start my business. It's like, that's great. I get that you're frustrated about your day job, maybe, a little stressed out and burnt out. However, keep the paycheck for a little bit while you start building your business, and then we'll go from there. And then that's one group of people that I help. I can help them from start to, get your signature program out there so that you start bringing in clients and you can quit that day job. And then there are the existing coaches and consultants that are out there that are just thinking, well, I have all this stuff and I'm not getting the number of clients that I want to scale my business and to grow my business. And it's usually something they're not seeing themselves. And that's where, any coach or consultant comes in. Any coach or consultant comes in, and what we do is we help you see what you don't see, and then create, modify, or update what you've got to bring in that next level so that you break through whatever it is. A glass ceiling is just that. It's a glass ceiling. They're really super easy to crash through if you know how to do it. And that's what a coaching or a consultant helps you with. So I call myself a business transformation specialist because that's what I specialize in. I help people transform their businesses and bring them to that higher level.
And you have a whole team now helping people, or is it more of just is a tight, nimble team? What is the size and what is your reach as far as location?
Yeah, so I am global, and one of the things that I actually teach for my client family members is when you talk about a team. Now, I've been down the road when I had my computer businesses, I had employees. I will never have another employee in my life. I mean, never say never. However, I've been down the employee route. I have a full team for my Autumn Ascent Consulting business, which is the name of my company, I have a full team behind me. I have a web person. I have a couple different VAs. I have all these people. They're all virtual people. So you build a team, and you don't have to hire a bunch of people to get things done. You just need to know what you need to delegate, and then know who to delegate it to. And those people become your team. So I have a whole team behind me that helps with a number of things whenever I need them. And yet I don't have any employees.
That's powerful. And tell me how to find you, or what's the best way to engage with your business?
Yeah, so I can share with you, I actually have my own lead magnet that I'd like to give away as a free gift. I know you have some information on it. It's how to avoid the 5 biggest mistakes that coaches and consultants make. And right at the end of that gives you some information on how to contact me. My email address, I'm always happy. I teach reverse marketing. And so I'm not a person who goes out and sells anything. That's actually, that's one of those limiting beliefs that I had when I first got into business. I said, I hate salespeople. I think they're the worst people walking the face of this earth. I think of salespeople as, those car salesmen that are just talking you into something that you don't actually need. And I had a huge aversion to that, which is why when I learned, hey, you know what? You don't have to sell anything. There's this thing called reverse marketing where you just provide value and then you extend your hand and you make an offer. And so what I learned was I'll share all of my contact information. If somebody wants to contact me, great. If they don't want to contact me, great. I don't do sales. I have real personal conversations with people. And basically we have a conversation saying, I don't know, I might or might not be able to help you. I don't have landing pages or anything for my products and services. I just have conversations with people and say, here's what I have, if it's a right fit for them. I don't even tell them that I can help them until I hear what it is that's going on with them. So for all of these salespeople that are out there selling stuff just for the sake of selling stuff, by the way, that's where a lot of the money limiting beliefs come from. They come from that, I'm just going to say it, the sleazy salesman routine, where they just like push their stuff on you and they say, oh yeah, you know what, Andre, you need to hire me. You need this because I know I can help you. And they go into this big pitch, whether or not they can actually help you or not. And they convince you, they're so convincing that they get you to buy. And that's where that, 5 minutes later, that buyer remorse kicks in. That's that traditional sales. And so when we talk about contacting people, I always tell people, give people everything they need to get a hold of you. The right people will find you. So for me, I share my email address. My email address is really super simple. It's regina@autumnascent.com. And I have that lead magnet, which is the how to avoid the 5 biggest mistakes that coaches and consultants make, that I know you're going to be sharing on the podcast here. So feel free to pop in on that and understand what I help people do is to do exactly what I do. Reverse marketing. It's not about pushing your stuff on people. It's how to attract people that are the right people who resonate with you, that you can actually help. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what we all want? Is we want to be able to help and serve and help other people live better lives, build a better business, whatever it is that you do for a living. At the end of the day, those of us who are entrepreneurs that really want to affect change, that's why we're here. We're here to help you be the best version of you.
I love this, especially I think more and more. I think if you start to give your best stuff away, and people will wonder what else could be behind the scenes or how else you could help. But yeah, this is beautiful how you are creating value, and I think there comes a time, and I know you are among the pioneers who says, well, I want you to have results. I'm not charging for time, because there is some major misconceptions out there on the market where people just making money and having the hammer, and everyone is looking like a nail, and that's a massive problem when people are disillusioned from, I guess, from coaching, from taking out hiring people. Do you see that sort of damage out there in the market too?
I see that all over the place. If you're out on social media for 5 minutes, you're getting inundated with ads from all these people that are saying, buy my stuff, buy myself. AI is out now, and AI is really big. And I incorporate AI in my training as well, because the ex-tech hat, once a geek, always a geek. So when AI came out, I loved it, and I help people create their content. So of course, I know how to use AI. Right now, I am out on social media on a regular basis, and I'm seeing people push all of these programs that they're charging, exorbitant money. It's like, it's crazy. The stuff that I'm seeing out there is just insane, because it's everybody's looking to make a buck on the new shiny object that's out there, right? And I just want to scream to people, don't buy their stuff. You don't have to. Do you realize you can get this stuff for free at a whole bunch of different places? There's no reason that you have to spend a whole bunch of money on this stuff. They're just trying to sell you something. It's the new shiny object. It's the new iPhone. It's the new thing on the market that everybody's standing in line for, and you don't need to stand in line. And it's an integrity thing with me. That's not how you do business. If you do business like that, I tell people all the time, do you want 100 clients that are not the right fit for your business? Or would you rather have 10 clients that are your perfect ideal client that you build a relationship with, and they basically stay with you forever because they know that you can help continually bring them up to the next level, to the next level, to the next level? Which would you prefer? 100 clients that kind of fall off your radar because, you know, they maybe do some work for 2 weeks and then all of a sudden they're gone? Or do you want engaged, happy clients that you know you're actually helping, that, you know, stay with you and you build those relationships with? You know, a lot of people will say, well, I want the 100 because they're going to pay me the money. You know, it's like, well, those 100 people, number one, they're probably going to ask for money back. And then, of course, there's going to be the back and forth if you don't have a money back guarantee. So there's going to be a back and forth there. And when that happens, what's going to happen? They're going to, do you ever go to a restaurant and have a bad meal and you put that bad review out? Nobody talks a lot about the good stuff that happens. They love talking about all the bad stuff. So if you just, you know, throw the proverbial spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, and you get a whole bunch of people into your business as clients that aren't the right fit, at some point, a whole bunch of them are going to fall off and they're going to tell the world how bad you are. Are you bad? You're not bad. You just weren't the right fit for them. And even knowing that they weren't the right fit, because you took them on, you kind of created that yourself.
That's very insightful, and I absolutely agree, because I'm one of those crazy ones who has money back guarantee, because I take full ownership of the whole journey. And and I think that's where I believe you have this wonderful offer for everyone. And if you're watching and listening to us, I think if you're looking for a coach, and tell me if I'm on the right track here, Regina. I think I know there's a lot of marketers out there and there's a lot of offers, but you want to know what's behind it. Don't buy into things that you haven't checked with an actual person who is creating results, or who build a relationship with, because that is the real test of whether it's real, or is there anything behind it. Would you agree that that's when you will have that off feeling, oh, now I'm not too sure anymore? Like, that's the time to exit that conversation and really find someone else, would you say?
Absolutely. I have an application process where it's simply, it's a call, it's a phone call. And I just ask questions, and all of the questions that I ask, it's all about you. It's all about, who are you? What are you doing? What's working well in your business? You know, where do you need help? And literally it's 5 questions. And once I get to that 4th question, I know whether or not I can help them. And if I can't help them, chances are pretty good I know somebody who may be able to, because I know a lot of other coaches and consultants. So maybe I'm not the right fit for somebody. However, I know somebody else who might be the right fit. So I refer people off to other people who do exactly what I do. I'm just not exactly, as I'm hearing them, I'm thinking, you know, they really need this type of person, and that's not me. So I'm going to refer them off to them, and then they can have a conversation with that person to see if they're the right fit. The last thing I want to do is take on a client who's not the right fit. At the end, it's never going to work out. And my goal in life, just like I think most people with integrity who, you know, my transparency, authenticity, and integrity, those are, you know, my core values. You know, my goal is to help as many people as I can be as successful as they can. So I only take on people that I know that I can help. If I know that I can't help you, then I'm going to send you on your way. And I too, one of the things I teach in my program is to put that guarantee on there.
Wow, I wasn't aware of that. I'm so happy. I was thinking, because most of the clients I tend to see, they have been, how to say, ripped off. No, I don't like many have taken their money and they didn't get the results. So I think your purpose as a business owner should be the way you measure your success is about getting the client to where they want to be.
I measure my success by your success. That's if you're not successful, and people ask me all the time. Here's little tips from, actually, it's in my program. I teach, this is part of what I teach people, excuse me, with regards to a guarantee. Anybody can have a guarantee. And most people are like, well, how am I supposed to have a guarantee? I can't guarantee what I do. I can't guarantee certain things. It's how you craft your guarantee. My guarantee states, if you do the work, if you show up and you do, and we work together and we get this done, my signature program that I have, you mentioned it earlier in my bio, From Chaos to Clients, that's a done with you program. It's not something that I just sell and say, oh, here you go watch the modules, good luck. It's a done with you program. So as they're going through the modules, I help them every step of the way. They go out on their own and watch the modules. So I'm not live on the modules. However, they have, we call it home play, not homework. So they have home play to do, and then they share all that information. And I basically work back and forth with them to help them craft what they need. And one of those things is the guarantee. And the guarantee can be, if you show up, if you do the work. I know when people show up and do the work, if they do the work in the program, they will be successful. It's virtually impossible not to be successful if you show up and do the work. Now, that's part of my guarantee. If you don't show up and you don't do the work, yeah, no, you're not getting your money back. I mean, that's the guarantee says you show up and do the work. If you show up and do the work and for some reason you're not as successful as, it's not working, then I know for me that something is off. So in my guarantee, it states, if that's the case and you've shown up and done the work, then I will work with you privately one-to-one until you are successful, because that was what I promised you. So that's my guarantee to people. And then if for some reason that doesn't work, I will give them their money back, which has never happened, because at the end, even if I have to help somebody privately one-to-one because something maybe is a little bit off, maybe there's a limiting belief or something that, didn't show up earlier that we didn't address, or maybe something needed to be tweaked. Yeah, that's how you do a guarantee. So when people say, most coaches and consultants, I always tell people, if you're hiring a coach or consultant, there's two big things. First, ask for references. Of course, they're going to give you, it's just like a job. When you go to get hired for a job and they say, give me your references, are you ever going to give them somebody who's going to say something bad about you? No. However, it gives you some insight as to some of the people that they've worked with. So ask for references. And then number two, don't hire a coach or a consultant that doesn't have a guarantee. There's no reason for them not to have a guarantee.
Well, I'm feeling really good about myself. And it's great to hear this back from you that, you've got, I think it's a bulletproof formula. And that's how I can myself feel so congruent about everything I do, because basically it's not about me. It's about serving and then seeing the results for them. So if things go well, what would you be celebrating in 5 years' time?
What would I be celebrating when things go well? Oh, we celebrate all the time. So any conversation. Sorry, go ahead.
Things are going amazing for you for the next 5 years. What would you be celebrating? For
me personally?
Yes, or as a business.
Honestly, I get my biggest kicks when my clients are successful. So, I am looking forward to, meeting with my clients. I build client relationships. We call them client family members for a reason, right? Client family members. The people that I work with, they literally become, part of they're my client family. And I love to celebrate with them and enjoy their success, because there's nothing that I like more than seeing them succeed. It gives me all the warms and fuzzies inside. I mean, it's my purpose in life. We look for a reason for being often, and some of us never find what our true purpose is. I found my true purpose a long time ago, because I learned that I feel my best. I feel the most joy. I feel the most love when I am helping others succeed. And when I see that smile on their face, when I see a client go, I just got my first $10,000 month. I just got my first, when I see that, I'm getting chills right now. When I see that, I'm just like, I'm so excited. This is, it makes me so happy. And, you know, that's what I celebrate. I celebrate with gratitude that I'm able to help affect change in somebody else's life.
Yeah, you really have the best job. What
I
have
love my
I
job.
not been? What did I not ask that probably you wanted to share before we finish up this wonderful interview? There's been so much gold in it. Tell me more. What's missing? If you have a final few gold nuggets for us before we finish up.
Yeah, well, you know, for anybody who is listening or watching that is in that space where you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling frustrated because something's not quite right, reach out to someone, find a coach or consultant, and make sure that you do those two things. You do the ask them for references and, you know, check them out and make sure that they have that guarantee, and, you know, do your homework as well. You know, it's, think about what it is that might be holding you back. A lot of people, when they first come to me, they've heard the term limiting belief. They don't think they have them. That is step one in the limiting belief process, is to actually acknowledge the fact that you have them. We all have them, and it's okay. It's okay that you have limiting beliefs, because every single one of us has them. And that's the first step in success, is recognizing that you have them and then saying, I'm going to do something about it. So when you're thinking about tips on where to get started, how to even just, you know, get started on your own, first stop and think. If you're frustrated, if you're overwhelmed literally just means you have too much going on in here. That's all overwhelm is the program that I have called Chaos to Clients. That's what chaos is. Chaos is overwhelm. Chaos is chaos in your head. It all lives right here between your ears. And once you get that under control, the rest is a piece of cake.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard from the Queen herself that check out references. Know who you're working with, because you literally can't go wrong. Then you're not risking, you're not betting your future, the future of your business on a guess. Well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed having this conversation, because I think it will change so many businesses and business owners that I hope we will reach millions and millions, because they need someone real out there. Thanks very much again.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This has been such an awesome conversation.